Welcome to the West of Scotland Kart Club here at Larkhall. Loved by many, but feared by most who race here. It's a tough challenge for the second round of the Senior Series. This is the track. Favourite overtaking will be at the end of the bottom straight and the testing right-hander that precedes the finish line. It's flat out all the way, and life will favour the brave. Our featured classes, as always, will be Formula A and Formula 100 TKM. Can Simon Short build on his dramatic win in round one of the Formula A Championship? And who will lead next in TKM? They might be standard engines, but little else is standard about this hugely competitive challenge. But let's kick off with Formula A with a little reminder of the scores from round one. Little to separate Short, Jenkinson and Melville so far, but don't expect the rest to take that lying down. Ask Adam Jones. Well, this was the second final. Dean Panrucker in pole ahead of Robert Jenkinson, Daniel Barrett and Adam Jones. Simon Short was fifth after a rough and tumble with Panrucker in the first final, with Gavin McFadden in sixth. But it was Jenkinson who stole the march on that very first bend from Panrucker. Barrett held third. Simon Short nipping in and out ahead of Jones in fourth. No place note for championship third man Graham Melville. Disqualification in Heat 3 saw to that. So 13th on the grid for the Kart Master champion, so he had plenty to do. Jenkinson, beautifully controlled and confident this year, has no doubts about his own ability or the machinery in taking the Formula A crown from the retiring champion Bobby Game. But there are no easy rides in the championship, and if Jenkinson had any doubts about Panrucker's determination to make sure he doesn't take that crown, then they were soon dispelled. And Simon Short, so often bridesmaid to Game's magnificent back-to-back championships, also harbours a gritty ambition to come out of the shadows. But with 3 laps to go after having done the hard bit and dumped Panrucker into third, Short, going for broke, made what can only be described as a complete hash of it. Panrucker, after his disastrous first round, was only too happy to accept Short's generosity, and suddenly the first round winner was 12th. Well, there is no excuse here, running loose, onto the rumble strip. The oversteer to correct merely produces the spin out of contention. So, just when Jenkinson had prepared himself for a last lap battle, he suddenly found the opposing army in retreat. Panrucker settled for second, and Adam Jones, another to suffer horrendous luck in round one, considered third a useful enough launchpad to championship glory later in the season. Dean Hawkey was fourth, Justin Edgar fifth, and Noel Brennan sixth. And Short eventually finished 11th.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Not good at all. Kart was absolutely superb and slowly catching Robert. I made a silly mistake like that.
There you go, the rest of the season to come now.
Yeah, I hope the next round's a bit better. There we go. What happens?
But the damage might have been worse. Simon Short holding on to second, albeit 19 points behind Jenkinson. But he demonstrates a burning ambition to set the record straight, and that yet might be his greatest asset. And moving on, and in the new Intercontinental A Championship, number 20, Jason Gardner was having things virtually his own way, finishing in the end comfortably ahead of Stevie Morris. Not so lucky there for number 76, Jay Howard, nudged out of contention with just 25 yards to go. So this is how they look, and it couldn't be closer. Jason Gardner making the top 6 with his win, Stevie Morris closing up in second, but David Clark in the Tony Kart is still the man to catch. And we'll be spending a little more time with the Echo Challenge at the next round. Meanwhile, it's TKM, and a favourite struggling to find a little good luck.
It's really relieved not to be in the B final as it goes. We've had a lot of dramas today. It's a lot of contact driving. It's very close. So I'll just take what I've got and try and improve on that.
There's been a lot of talk about this contact driving, and you would agree with that?
Yeah, I would. It's just because everyone's so close. Everyone's fighting over positions. It's really, really tight, and people have to go to harsh lengths to get to the front.
There's no doubt in my mind Gary Catt, the ex-junior TKM champion, will repeat the performance in the seniors. He wasn't at his best in round one, but here so far, he's hitting invincible form. No doubt either, the track is one of his favourites.
It's just got everything really. It's got fast corners and it's got airpins. So, you know, the quick boys do get through the field if you can overtake. So yeah, it's a good track.
A bit of a day so far, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 wins, but the final could be a bit different, I think. You only need someone to take you off on the start, and that's the end of the day.
So this is how they will line up. Catt ahead of Harry Soden, Lee Pearcey, Wesley Goldswin, Adrian Coles and Paul Ralston. Quite a prospect. Well, it was a couple of weeks ago at Shennington when the season got underway in TKM. Adrian Coles won the A final quite comfortably, but it was a mighty close thing between Terry Langley and Richard Stirren, right behind. And it was Richard Stirren who accumulated the most points on the day. 12 more than Paul Ralston, 17 more than Damien Tigwell, 18 better off than Stuart Smith and Darren Rayfield, with Scott Baines just 2 behind. Green is for go, and the A final of the Alf Hillhouse Hammond Formula TKM round here at Larkhall bursts into life. On board immediately with David Morris, trying to make up from what's a pretty poor grip position for him. Gary Catt leads, Lee Pearcey second, Harry Soden third, and Lee Pearcey blasts through the inside of number 3. Gary Catt, and really Catt left the door open. The present was received gratefully by Pearcey, so he leaves. Harry Soden third, Adrian Coles off 5th, number 92 is right behind. So the early strike belongs to that man, number 70, Lee Pearcey. And that really was quite significant. Came here believing he can win today. Well, no one will bet against that now. Gary Catt right behind, that's David Morris. Still with work to do. Down in 13th position, so he has made up some ground from 18th. Leaders. Once again in TKM. Just around about a second and a half separates the top 10. There's never very much between first and last when you're racing with this group. And the first lap time, 44.67. Well, that's quick. Let's see what they can do on this one. Over the line now, 44.47. That's 0.2 of a second quicker. And I can't honestly see it getting a great deal faster than that. This is a searing pace. On board now with Gary Catt. That's the rear view of number 70, Lee Pearcey. So Gary Catt lining himself up there, but Harry Soden in return is lining himself up, I think, for a pot at second place. Well, an awful lot could happen in this race, as we said, right from the very start. This is Catt, right up behind Lee Pearcey, number 70. Harry Soden closes in. Right behind him it's Coles, 92. Then it's Godwin, number 22. After that, it's Davis, Allwood, Matthew Granger, 23. He's up from 9th to 8th. Well, they're all keeping it tight. That's David Morris. He picks up 1 more place, moves himself up to 12th. And Catt won't need reminding of Harry Soden's presence. He's hanging on the rear bumper of number 3. And it's still number 70, Lee Pearcey, who leads from Gary Catt. Harry Soden is 3rd. Then it's Coles, 92, Davis, 57, and Godwin, 22. He's dropped back. Her last lap of 44.14 was the quickest, over half a second quicker than lap 3, and 0.33 of a second quicker than lap 2. So there's no let-up in the pressure, especially if you're around in the top 3 here. It's a championship won last year by Jay Howard, who's moved on to the new Intercontinental A-class this year. He dominated in 1997, and here goes Catt up the inside of number 70, Lee Pearcey, and he holds on to that. So Gary Catt leads. Lee Pearcey will look for the counter try, and he gets it. Lee Pearcey goes back into the lead, but Gary Catt on the bumper will strike again, I think. Yes! So Gary Catt from first to second to first is back in first yet again. A tremendous battle going on here between him and number 70 Pearcey, who takes the lead once again. So I make it 4 times on that lap, the lead change, while Harry Soden superb. Coles is 4th, Godwin 5th, Davis is 6th, Allwood 7th, Granger 8th, and Terry Langley off grid 13 makes his challenge after a disastrous start. And David Morris off 19 is now 11th, but he needs to get a move on. It gets harder the further up the field you go, so he still has an awful lot of work to do. And so does this man. We're on board with Gary Catt. And really, if he's going to win today, he's going to have to do it the hard way, but he goes through once again the inside of number 70, Lee Piercy. So, Gary Catt, when perhaps some would say he should be playing it safe, he has the magnificent haul of points. Watch Harry Sowden there. He looked as if he was having a nibble there at number 70, Lee Piercy. Oh no, Lee Piercy is still in second position. Oh, there goes Harry Sowden. Harry Sowden moves into second, or does he? Lee Piercy on the counter-strike here. But Sowden hangs on. That was a magnificent strike by the young number 5. And it's getting worse for Piercy because 92, Adrian Coles has moved up 1 as well. So, from first, it's 4th now for Lee Piercy. But it's first for Gary Catt. And let's just take another look at Harry Sowden. Well, that was quite a strike by the youngster. He knew there would be a counter-attack, and this really is where you have to be on your guard. Oh, and number 70, Lee Piercy, has got past Adrian Coles, so yet another change in this extraordinary race. Well, I make that around 25 changes already in position in the top 5 within the first 8 laps. Well, that is quite amazing when you consider at the end of the laps they've been almost in the same position from the start. Through the inside there goes number 53. David Morris still trying to make up ground, but still jammed in there behind number 81, where he's been for the last 3 or 4 laps. Back on board with Gary Catt out in front, and there's no speeding up of that picture. That's exactly how bumpy it is. He looks over his shoulder. Harry Sowden looks down his exhaust. Lee Piercy looks at them both and thinks, how am I going to get through? He needs the points if he's going to go second in the championship. Oh, and Harry Sowden took a knock there. The net result of that is Lee Piercy still 3rd though. Gary Catt down the hill. The train almost has won as they get into the closing stages of this race. 2/3 done now. Catt will settle for his position for sure, so will Sowden. Piercy won't. Back on board with David Morris, still stuck behind number 81. He'll need to move very soon indeed. Right then, where's the next change going to come? It's going to come, I think, yes! Lee Piercy goes back into second. Harry Sowden caught napping. Oh, was he? Well, that's a magnificent strike back by number 5. Straight away, Lee Piercy just leaving it a little bit wide. Thought he had the man, but you could never count on Harry Sowden to lie down. The net result of that is that Gary Catt's got away a little bit now. He'll fancy his chances here. Let's just take another look at one of those many overtaking manoeuvres, and that was Gary Catt going back to the front. Really, you can only say that Lee Piercy asked for that. That was a huge gap. So, Gary Catt into the closing laps. And look at number 4, that's Terry Langley off grid 13, goes up another one. So he goes into 4th position now. This is back on board with Gary Catt. And as I was saying earlier, this is exactly how it is on those karts. Nothing speeded up, no shakes added in. It really is that much rough and tumble when you're 3 or 4 centimetres off the tarmac. And it's hotting up because Lee Piercy is right up behind Gary Catt. Harry Sowden dropping back just a few feet. And that in this game is quite important. So, Catt, just a couple of laps to go. Over his shoulder. And he's saying there to Lee Piercy, you'll have to go down the grass, mate, if you're going to go through on me. Oh, but he left it wide there. And Lee Piercy goes back in the lead. And Gary Catt almost goes 3rd because Harry Sowden was on the bar. He was ready to take advantage. Gary Catt just in time, and Sowden really does fancy his chances here. Catt almost back in the lead again. Piercy just holding on. Well, this really has been a titanic duel from the start. Lee Piercy adjusts himself in his seat, knows that if he's going to hang on to this lead, he's going to have to do it the hard way, that's for sure. Down the hill they come again, and here comes Gary Catt, but there's no way through there, and Terry Langley has got ahead of Harry Soden. He goes third, so from grid 13 is now third for Terry Langley. That really has been the drive of the day. Once more, down the hill at the opposite end of the track, and a comfortable lead now, if 6 feet's comfortable. Into the last lap goes Lee Pearcey. One last opportunity for Gary Catt. He won't give in, that's for sure. Terry Langley nicely in 4th position. Harry Soden though up on his tail. So here he goes, Gary Catt for the lead. His chances are running out. Soden goes through on the inside of Langley. Langley goes back to 4th, and that's the first place he's dropped since the last heat. Oh, and a bit of argy-bargy going on there. But all eyes on the leaders, and it's Gary Catt. One final opportunity down the hill. Can he get past? Wide on the outside, will cut on the inside. It's a dash to the line, but it's Lee Pearcey. He wins the second round of the RAC MSA El Pilhouse Hammond Formula 100 TKM Championship from Gary Catt. Well, that's how they are now. Gary Catt's haul of points enough to keep him ahead of Lee Pearcey and well ahead. But what a championship is boiling up. Well, you'll surely never see a better motor race than that. And what future, I wonder, for these 3 young men.
Did you think you were going to win the race at any point?
I can remember coming through with about 3 or 4 laps to go, and I looked round and they'd started to squabble behind, so I thought, well, that was my chance now. I didn't think they were going to catch me, but Lee seemed to come on his own and just drop the rest.
What was the decisive point in the race for you?
Once I worked my way back from 4th, got up 2nd, got after Gary. Harry left me alone, I was alright, get on with my own job, and managed to get after him.